Welcome, Bryson, to the Hike to Highlands media channel. We're pleased to have you as a guest this year, and I'm interested in hearing more about the exciting projects that are going on with the Island Walk in 2021, and we look forward to your presentation.
Well, thanks, Tom. It's a pleasure to be with your group tonight, and I'm happy to talk a little bit more about the Island Walk and some of the other activities that we're involved in here in PEI. As you know, the Island Walk started in 2019. We, with a small group of islanders, we walked around the circumference of PEI, 700 kilometers, over a period of about a month, 32 days actually. And we walked on a route that took us out to the seacoast a good deal of the time, but we also made use of the Confederation Trail as much as we could, which runs down the center of PEI, but also it has several spines that go off. So the Confederation Trail is now 450 kilometers, and the Island Walk uses 350 kilometers of the Confederation Trail. Okay. We also use about 175 kilometers of other trails and dirt roads, and the balance, 175 kilometers, is on the shoulder of secondary roads around the island. So we did the walk in 2019. There were 4 of us that did the whole thing, but we were joined in many instances by other walkers who started to follow our itinerary, first of all on Facebook, and then subsequently on CBC, because we were getting quite a bit of attention on CBC about what we were doing, and that allowed us to have our numbers grow substantially. So we had as many as 25 or 30 people walking with us on any given day. And as I say, the trip took us about a month. I wrote a book about the walk, and that was published late in 2019. And I've since then had to reprint the book 5 times. It's been very popular, especially with people who are familiar with other long distance walks like the Camino de Santiago in Spain. So it's about the same length as the Camino, and the Camino is about 800 kilometers, and it takes about the same amount of time. We walked the Camino in 34 days. So you walk continuously. You're a little bit weather dependent, obviously. So if you run into rain, you have to put up with it. And we were expecting quite a few people to start walking based on the interest in 2020. And of course, that didn't really happen because of COVID. So there have been a few people that walked the Island Walk in 2020, but most of them were islanders, obviously, and there have been some people walking it already this year in 2021. So I'll talk a little bit about that, and I'll talk about some of the preparations. There was so much interest in what we were doing, not just amongst the walking community, but also with Tourism PEI, that we were able to get quite a bit of support from tourism last year to help develop a website for the Island Walk, and a few other products, an accommodation plan, and accommodation partners along the way. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the additional things we've been working on this year, so you get a bit of an idea. And to do that, I'll do a screen share here, Tom, with okay, to show some of the products that we're working on for this year. So the initial work last year was completed to develop a brochure for the Island Walk, in addition to the website that we have. The brochure, we didn't have funding last year to actually print it, but we're now in the process of finalizing it. And you can see from this slide up in the corner here that it's one half of the brochure, the backside, is going to be a map of PEI that shows all the daily stopping places. You can see the daily stopping places marked here. There's day 2, day 3, day 4. Based on a 32-day trip, of course, you can walk longer or shorter depending on your own interests and capabilities. Or you can do some of the walk, or you can do segments of the walk. Our webpage, our website describes several itineraries that are as short as 3 or 4 days, and some that are a couple of weeks. So you can choose your favorite segment of PEI and walk it. And this is some of the information down here about what you'll see along the way and some of the places you'll stop. The map is extremely detailed. So it shows, for example, all the washrooms along the Confederation Trail, which is part of the route. And it shows campgrounds and some of the other accommodations along the way.
Brian or
Now
Bryson,
sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Bryson, just I wanted to just comment a little bit about your distances. Um, Most of them are between 20 and 27 kilometers, which in the UK world is like 12 to 14 miles. So,
Right.
and most of the hikes over in UK that are long distance are the exact same as yours. So I think that's important to tell people is that your distance are very manageable for a day hike or how many days you want to do in the whole walk. And I think that's a really nice feature that those distances seem to work out almost the same as most of the other long distance trails in UK for effect.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So what we found when we did the Camino is if you get over 30 kilometers, you're going to start to have foot problems
Yep.
and other problems that sort of go with overexertion, heat exhaustion, and all that sort of thing. Now, of course, there are some people that want to do longer walks, and if they do, that's great. But the stopping places are quite convenient when they're set up that way. So it just happens that most of the stopping places are in towns or communities. So that makes the transportation a lot easier. And the other thing we've learned in the last year, as we've been working with accommodation providers, is most of the accommodation providers in PEI that want to participate in the island walk, most of them rent cottages, and they don't want to rent a cottage for one night. So there are B&Bs along the way, but the biggest interest is coming from people who want to rent cottages. And what we've been negotiating, and you'll find that we can deliver on this this year, is with some of the folks that want to rent cottages for, let's say, a week, because the island walk route is a circle, it means you're going to go past their place going one way and then back past it again coming the other way. So it makes it quite convenient for them to pick you up or drop you off.
Okay.
So we're going to have several accommodation providers, at least 4 we're working on right now, who will offer free transportation to and from the trail. So they will pick you up at the end of your day. They'll take you back to their accommodation. You can stay in their cottage. They'll help stock the cottage with supplies. And then the next morning, they'll take you back to where you dropped off, and you'll walk the next day and they'll pick you up again. So that works out really well for people that want to offer, let's say, 5 to 7 day accommodation in their cottage. And I think that'll be a nice way to do the walk. Some people are tenting it, but if you're not into tenting, and I'm not that enthusiastic about tenting anymore, I like the idea of a nice warm bed. So there's going to be lots of opportunity for doing that at a pretty reasonable price. So most of these places are offering the accommodation, the cottages, for the usual cottage rate. The transportation they're throwing in for free. So and you can a price point around $100 a night for a cottage in PEI.
Yeah.
So and let me show you the backside of this. This is what the brochure will look like. A little bit of the story and what it's all about, how we got to where we are, and what you can see on the island walk. And as you can see, it's very professionally done, and it looks superb. So we're very, very proud of the work that the graphic designer has done on this brochure. They're going to have 5,000 copies printed in English and 2,500 in French.
That's excellent.
So that I just came from a Island Trails board meeting and confirmed that'll be done by mid-June. So we're almost there now.
Yes, good news.
And the other thing that I think is a major achievement for the Island Walk, for those that are familiar with PEI, we have very, very strict signage laws in PEI. You can't put up signs without going through a huge process with tourism. There's a Highway Signage Act. You can't post signs, advertising signs. So we needed to have something that showed direction for the Island Walk. And these are the signs that we've evolved. So these signs that you see here are the coastal routes in PEI. They're already established routes in PEI for driving. And then we're the first organization that's been able to add to the bottom of those signs the Island Walk direction signs. So they will be right on the highway, showing you every time you have to make a turn what direction you'll be turning into. And you can see that there's a sign that points with an arrow. There's a sign that'll indicate just go straight ahead, keep going the direction you're going. And these signs with the numbers, those will be the waypoints, the daily walking points that will correspond with the various spots you might want to stop for the night.
Okay.
So you can, when you see one of these signs, you're actually at the stopping place.
Oh, good.
So that will be our signage plan. We're happy to roll that out, and I just threw this one in as well. One of our hiking trails in PEI is right beside the Van Kampen tulip growing operation. So that's what that looked like today. I was out on that trail today.
Okay, that looks nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. And let me segue from that, Tom, into what we're doing in Island Trails in terms of mapping the route and making hiking readily available to anyone. We've been working. Island Trails is the overall body that supports the Island Walk, but we've been working at. There's been so much interest in walking this year. That we've expanded our list of trails from the 8 trails we used to manage to first 20, and now we're up to 60 trails that we list on our website. Wow. And you can see from the scrolling I'm doing here what we show on the website. We show the name of the trail. We show the trail conditions. Those are updated. This time of year, almost daily. And then if you want more information on the trails, you can drill into any of these. I'll drill into Dalve or to Drumore because I was on that trail today. And it will bring up more information about that trail and what you can see when you go on it. This is the tulip fields I was describing to you.
Oh, yes.
So we have a little informal contests on one of our Facebook pages. I would invite any of your participants to check out. It's called Island Walking Trails. It's a group in Facebook, and it's grown from about 100 members a month ago to 1,100 today, and it's growing like crazy. Oh, so it has links into this list of trails. So this is the Drumore Trail. One of our participants offered the photograph. You'll see what the map of the Drumore Trail looks like. And this is a map that I've drawn based on walking the route. But what I was telling you a few minutes ago is that the PEI government is now behind this idea. The Department of Health in PEI is sponsoring a project to map all the trails on PEI. They believe it's important for people's mental and physical health, and they've hired me and another person to map all the trails on PEI. We're starting with the 60 that Island Trails lists, but the project initially or ultimately envisages 215 trails that will be mapped and will be available to anyone who wants to come to the island and walk. And then there's a description down below of what the trail is like and
Can
what
I
you'll
just
see on the
ask you?
trail.
Can I ask you just a quick question?
Sure, go
When
ahead.
when you go, if you could just put that slide up a little bit. One of the,
Yep,
oh yeah, you have it here, trailhead coordinates, because a lot of people, if they
oh yeah,
haven't been to PEI before, doesn't know where, they don't know where the trailhead starts or where it ends.
right
So
on.
where it says here, you give the GPS coordinates, and then you also have get directions. I assume that's just the text part, is it?
Yeah, so it's a distance and turn. So it's like wherever that you start, it's a link to Google Maps basically.
Okay.
And the other way you can find it where you are is you go up here and you shrink that trail. Um, you'll see exactly where it is in relation to Charlottetown or anywhere else on the island.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So you can navigate to the trail that way too.
Yeah, I
And
thought maybe if you had a symbol to say this is where the up above you have Dromore, North Trailhead, and South. If you had a symbol already on your map, you could say, "Oh, that's where the trailhead is."
right,
I mean,
yeah,
logically, you'd look at it and say, "Well, that's probably one of the trailheads."
right.
But
Yeah, exactly. And the software that I'm using for the province actually has the trailheads marked, but
oh,
it's a good
good.
point. We should have them marked here too.
Yeah, because
And the other thing I'm going to switch to here just briefly, Tom, is I had mentioned that the island walk is being walked right now by a young woman from Summerside, and her name is Angie Arsenault, and she's posting each day what she's encountering. And so it's a nice little promotion for the island walk. Angie's she's taking great pictures along the way. She's very keen, and she's also walking long distances. So you don't have to take her distances as something that you want to do, but she's walking big distances every day. So she's on day 16 yesterday. This is East Point to Rollo Bay, and uh, and you'll see the great photos that she's posting along the way too. Um, here's what some of her shots are like, and she has a nice little description as well of what she's seeing along the way,
okay,
and
that looks nice.
it's uh, it's
Basin
great.
Head.
This is
I remember that spot.
one of the one of the beaches, Basin Head. In the summer, you'll see kids jumping off of this bridge. But
Yep.
they weren't jumping off it yesterday. The beach was pretty quiet yesterday, as you can see.
That's true.
But that's created a lot of new interest. The fact that somebody's walking it right now. So some of the people from Nova Scotia and some of the people from Ontario are clamoring to get here now. And I'll end on a positive note, and that is that our premier is announcing now that the island may be open. We may be opening our bubble. What did you say the dates he was talking about? He's having a press conference on
He
this
was
tomorrow.
he was kind of hinting that maybe July 1st, if all the numbers crunch and everything goes well in terms of vaccination and the
Right.
positive cases keep going down.
Yeah. So we haven't had any positive cases here for a week or so. And every time we do have one, it's all travel related. So we've really got things nicely under control.
Yep.
But the important thing from the premier's perspective and from the chief health officer's perspective is that 80% of the island will be 80% of the islanders will be vaccinated by the end of June. So
Yes.
we're on target for that now. I think we're about 60% today. So
Yep.
it's a good
And I
news
think
story.
Nova Scotia's going to be in the same boat, and I believe New Brunswick is too as well. So
Right
that's a
on.
good sign that everybody's getting vaccinated. But the key thing, of course, is get the second one
Yeah.
because you're not really fully protected until you have that second one.
Right on.
Yeah. So,
So I'm going to stop the screen share now, Tom, and go back. And
okay,
that's essentially all I wanted to cover today.
yeah. So just a couple of quick things. So you're probably thinking that we finish off these projects this year, but we really want to begin the big opening for next year, like the big push to get people coming from other places.
Right.
That
I would
that's
say
the
so.
goal,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
like the
That's right.
idea of your brochure because that way, if you don't carry a phone with you, at least you have a hard copy showing where the map, like the map on the back side, and you say, okay, this is where I'm at now.
Right.
Um, I think I agree that down the road, everybody seems to want to carry a phone with them, but I still think the other part is just as important, the hard copy.
I think so
And
too.
and the signage too. I think the signage is really crucial because if you at an intersection, you say, "Wonder which way to go." Oh, there's a sign that says go right
Right.
or go left.
Right. Right.
Um, because one of the things I learned in UK was the trails that are well signaged and well marked make a nice day when you're walking, but when they're not marked, or for example, I was at a place that somebody said you got to be there at 10 o'clock to cross those stepping stones over the river. So I went up and down, and this lady pulled over and she said, are you looking for the stepping stones? Yeah. She said, it's this road right here. And I noticed a branch had grown over the sign, so I couldn't see the sign.
Right.
So, I mean, those are important things because I know that when the trail's really well marked, chances are you don't even need a map, really.
That's right. That's
Um,
right.
but I can remember when my wife, we were coming to the end of the day, and we were in the community where we're going to supposed to stop and stay over, and then it used to kill her every day. How far is it to our B&B? It was another kilometer or two. Oh,
Right.
the killer. So we always used to say, "Oh, it's not far. Couple 10 minutes." Yeah.
Good
So
advice.
anyway, I like to wish you all the luck and hope that all the projects come together well this year. And anything I can do to help promote the Island Walk for next year, just let me know.
All right.
Because I think it's an important asset for Atlantic Canada to have that. And it keeps people motivated, and especially with COVID-19, it helps us with the physical and mental well-being of everybody by getting outside and enjoying nature. So
Right on.
anything I can do, send it over my way.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Okay, on
Appreciate it.
behalf of Hike the Highlands Festival, I'd like to thank you for your presentation tonight, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
I look forward to it too. Thanks again.
Thanks, Bryson.